Mainly because I like people to be informed. So I'd actually wanted something like this a while ago.
Cool idea.
Once I got support from another person, it made it a lot easier to be like, okay, we should do this.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, well, we are live. You can
Awesome.
even see it on my phone. See.
I can.
Although this is at a little bit of a lag, so. Um, so what time is it? It is 11:30. Awesome. So we are here with Trail Talk. We are talking Roundtable today. For those of you who don't already know me, I am Christine Reinebo. I am the Unit Serving Executive for the Wausau region. And with us today, we have Rick Ratloff.
Yeah.
And
So
what do you do?
my role in this is the council commissioner. That's been kind of tasked with rebuilding our roundtables, and so we got an assistant and a different concept of roundtables this year. I've got an assistant council commissioner, Russ Hoffman, that has volunteered to coordinate all of our roundtables, and so we've totally revamping the purpose and the content of roundtable, and I think that you're going to find it a lot more impressive this year than you have in past years.
Awesome. So before we jump into what that revamping actually looks like, um, for those of you who are watching, this will be live on Facebook, on YouTube. We will have this on our website available for you to watch afterwards to share with your leaders. Make sure you guys are getting everybody to Roundtable, and yeah, this will just be available for you guys to keep coming back to and getting your information again. So you mentioned that we're changing Roundtable from what it used to look like.
Right.
So what is that change and why?
So think about it. Back in the 1940s and 50s, when roundtables really became effective, right? They were there to disseminate information. And again, go back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even sometimes in the 80s, we didn't have email, right? And so the only way to get the information is to come in, grab a sheet of paper, whether it be ditto paper or copies and so forth, and actually get the information. And so information was passed out at roundtables. In addition, training was conducted at roundtables, and that's really where you learn to know and understand the Boy Scout program and the Cub Scout program. And more importantly, you got to know your leaders and other individuals that were going through it, right?
Yeah.
And so if you really put the premise on roundtables doing education and roundtables as a form of networking, that's what it was designed to do way back in the 40s and 50s. Was, just basically being there to hoorah you so that, that whole month that you got with the boys, you get drained and you come back and you feel pumped up and really excited and you got something new to try and you present that program back to the boys.
Perfect. And so that was, and we're kind of bringing that back a little bit?
We are kind of bringing that back because in the last couple of years, what's been happening is I go to Roundtable and I get some information, but that information is the same information that you've already provided me as a district executive, as a unit leader. You provided me to it in emails for the last month, right? And so all we're doing is reiterating emails. And then we're not really spending any time talking about subjects that I want to talk about. We're talking about subjects that aren't necessarily coming up, which is a good thing, but we're spending way too much time talking about something that I already know about, right? What I'd like to do is take some opportunities to learn something new. And so this roundtable program really does a redesign. So think of it this way. Some roundtables had what was called the Big Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Other roundtables, you got there and they said, okay, what do you want to talk about today? Well, I'd like to have something planned out. And so what we've done is we pulled together a group of about 15 individuals and talked and designed a program for the entire year.
Oh, now we can hear you. Uh-oh. Guys, we keep a phone here so that we can see your comments. So if you have questions for Rick especially, make sure you're commenting. But that's what happens when you have a phone ready to go.
Right. Oops.
Sorry, continue.
Anyway, so we pulled together about 15 individuals to talk about roundtables. So instead of the individual having to deal with coming up with a roundtable subject and talking about the subject, now we've got 15 people that have pulled together ideas. In addition, over the last several years, we've done what's called a self-assessment. And out of those self-assessments, we've pulled some information that basically says that some of our units are struggling on certain topics. So we've included those topics into our roundtable conversations. And so what we will do is in our roundtables, we will have what's called a big rock. And the big rock is going to be a quick concept, about 10 to 15 minutes of a conversation about something that applies to both Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, mentoring, STEM Scouts, the whole.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into specific Boy Scout program and a specific Cub Scout program. Now you might ask, why not venturing? Well, we've contacted the venturing leaders, and the venturing leaders basically said that they have their own process of getting information. And so our primary focus has been on Boy Scouts and on Cub Scouts.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I were to be a unit leader, and I'm now, tuned into the idea that this is going to be a great opportunity to get new information and to really connect with people, am I the only person who should be coming?
No, not necessarily, right? What we would encourage is that everyone attend, all of your adult leaders, your program staff. So if you're a Cub Master and a Den leader, a committee chairperson, come to these roundtables because you're going to get the information that's going to be helping you become more successful. Again, the whole intent of this is to make our unit leaders successful, our units successful, and by making units successful, we have our boys and girls experience the scouting program.
Perfect. Now, if they wanted to, they've now invited everybody, the whole crew of them.
Yeah.
Now, where do they go to get their roundtable?
Right. So we are going to have 5 different locations for Roundtable this year. In the past, we've had 6, and we've talked a little bit about whether or not we continue to have 6, and we really wanted to, but we couldn't find Roundtable commissioners that were willing to serve for volunteers. And we also found out that there were about only 4 or 5 units, about 6 or 7 people that would be attending a roundtable. And so we moved that location 20 miles away. So instead of having a location in in Rhinelander, we're now going to move that to Tomahawk.
Right.
So we'll have one in Tomahawk, we'll have one in Stevens Point, we'll have one in Marshfield, Wausau, Weston, haven't quite confirmed, Wausau, there we go.
Wausau.
And Wisconsin Rapids.
Perfect. And for all my fun Wausau people, it's sounding like we're switching our location, so stay tuned. It should be the LDS Church in Rib Mountain. I will make sure communication goes out a lot prior to our next roundtable to make sure you have that information. So give me a quick little overview of what some of the topics you're talking about bringing to these roundtables are.
Right. So roundtable number 1, right? We're going to start out talking a little bit about what is a roundtable, what's a good roundtable, why are we supposed to be there. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the changes, right? In commissioner service, for example, our unit service plan is changing. And so there is no such thing as a unit commissioner anymore. We've made some changes. And so we want to kind of just let everybody know this is what we're going to do to help serve the units, right? Then we're going to get into, from a Boy Scout perspective, are you ready? Helping the SPL plan the weekly meetings. Is your SPL doing it? In a lot of cases, about 50% of our units do not have an active PLC. This will help understand why they're supposed to have an active PLC and what the SPL is supposed to be doing. Right, so PLC is Patrol Leader Council, and the Senior Patrol Leader is the SPL. That's supposed to lead the entire boy organization. And when we get into the girls, right, they will have a separate PLC and separate SPL. All right. Also, from a Boy Scout perspective, be prepared. So we're going to talk about the yearly program plans, and then we're going to talk about communication. So we've actually got 4 different items. If you talk about the big rock, we've got small rocks that are coming up, tips for troops, and then we've got our program feature of the month. In addition, we've got open forum time. And open forum time is really the opportunity for us as unit leaders to say, hey, I've got this issue this year. Anybody else experiencing this issue? And how can I best handle this?
Yeah.
Right? So it's immediate feedback by the group of folks that are around you. And again, scouting is really about relationships, forming relationships, keeping relationships, and understanding the concepts of how to build a relationship, both with your youth and with the parents. And by doing this with other unit leaders, you get that feedback immediately and you can work together. You should never feel as if you're the only one around that has this issue, because you're not. we've got plenty of people that have them. And I think you've got some comments.
Oh, it does look like we do. Well, and that's the other thing too. I've seen it a handful of times already that when you get in that room and you're talking about an issue that you're coming across, like very frequently somebody's like, oh my gosh, I had that issue too. And so you're not even just helping yourself, you're helping somebody else as well.
Exactly.
So let's see, we've got Rick Olson, who said, like you said, with email out there, now how do you get people to show up? So what's your advice for getting people to actually show up?
So, there's the old adage, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
So we built it, and we're hoping that people come. As far as trying to get people out there, we've got a campaign. And so we've got, I think, 5 different methodologies that we're going to be starting to really promote Roundtable. This happens to be one of those forums. So the more that we can get out as far as what the Roundtable is, why we're moving ahead, I think more people are going to show up. We're also, so I talked about those 15 people that got together that planned it out. We've got a plan all the way through the end of May of next year. And so we're going to be putting out what that plan is, what those topics are. There's going to be months specifically that we want the entire committee to come, because we're going to be talking about budgeting, finance, the IRS, how much money you should be having, right? How much money you should be saving, type of thing.
Yeah.
And that whole concept. And we've had a lot of questions in the past about how much money people should have, whether or not they should have individual scout accounts. We'll be able to answer that.
Now, and I mean, I think a big thing too, a lot of the times when I talk to den leaders or, other people in your troop committee, they don't even feel invited. So make sure you're sharing this information with them, sharing the dates,
Right.
letting them know where they can go. The beauty of this new model too is that you can go anywhere. Everybody is doing the exact same program at every roundtable, so you are not tied to the Wausau location. You're not tied to Tomahawk. If you work in Stevens Point and have your unit in Wausau, like go to Stevens Point if that's easier to get there.
Correct.
Go where it works best.
Correct. We've also spread it out over the month, right?
Yeah.
So technically, Tomahawk is going to begin the month in the previous month, right? So it's going to be the last Thursday of the month, and that's going to start out the rotation. And then we're going to go the first Tuesday of the month for Stevens Point, the first Thursday of the month for Wisconsin Rapids and here.
Oh, okay.
And here, right? And then the second Thursday of the month is going to be for Marshfield.
Right. So you can either hit a Tuesday, you can hit a Thursday, and the Thursdays
are second or last Thursday of the month.
Right. So there's a lot of opportunities if it doesn't mesh with your schedule right away.
Correct.
That's awesome. So we talked a little bit for September about what the topic is going to be for the Boy Scouts. Can we give the Cub Scouts a sneak peek at what they're going to be learning?
Absolutely. So Cub Scouts, we're going to talk about scouting values and why they really exist. We call it Cub Scouting 101. And so that will be a small segment. And then the larger segment is going to be prepared, talking about the yearly program planning for PACs. How did you do your program plan, right? Because we were all supposed to hand in our program plans, right, to your unit serving executives back in May. So how did you do it, and was it effective, and how can we help you so that it's more effective next year?
Perfect. So is this list of activity or of focused areas going to be listed somewhere on the website that they can find?
Correct. It'll be on the website shortly for the entire months. Now, the ones that are currently worked out completely is September through January, and then we are doing some fine tuning, but we believe that we've pretty much got the topics nailed down between February and May.
Awesome. So stay tuned because we'll get that information out to you guys on where that's going to be on the website so that you can see ahead of time, hey, we need somebody to go in January. What's the topic? How do we get the right person and make sure that they're able to come or get to one of them somewhere? Which is the great part about having a yearly plan out in front of us and plan a little bit better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if, we got about 30 seconds to a minute left. If you could share one thing with all of your units out there that you're trying to get to this new roundtable, what would that be?
I would say plan to go, right? I've been a unit leader for over 30 years, and there's not a lot of subjects that I don't know about. But in this year's program, there are some subjects that I don't know about. And so I would suggest you just come to the roundtables and provide us the feedback. We're going to have suggestion boxes at those roundtable meetings. And if you don't see what you need, put that comment in there and we'll use that to help formulate our roundtables going forward.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys have heard us say it on here as well. Like, there's topics you need, if there's help that you need, the best way and honestly, the only way that we can do that is if we know what you need.
Correct.
We have amazing volunteers like Rick who are constantly working to figure out the better way to serve you guys. And so everything you can do to show up, support what they're doing, support each other. Even if you've been in the program for 30 years, if you've been to the WASA roundtable, the number of times I stop and go, "Hey, Rick, that's right, correct?" And he goes, "Yes, you're right, Christine."
Right.
You know, that's helpful too. We've got a lot of new people in the Cub Scouting program, but a lot of our troop unit leaders have been in the Cub Scout program. So, you know, your knowledge is helpful, your feedback is helpful, and your attendance, we really, really want it.
In addition, if you have a passion for a particular subject, we are looking for presenters for that subject. It won't be the same roundtable commissioner doing all the presentations. We're going to vary, and we're going to ask your assistance to provide that feedback, or provide that program rather.
Yeah, so if you are interested in helping out, you can get in touch with anyone here at the council and we'll connect you to Rick and his
Correct.
team. And that is pretty much all the time we have for today. So I think that, I'm not sure, it says roundtable at, and just to reiterate where the roundtable locations are, we have Tomahawk on the first or the last Thursday of each month. They won't have one for September because of kickoffs and everything. On Tuesdays is Stevens Point.
First Tuesday of the month is Stevens Point.
First Tuesday is Stevens Point.
First Thursday
is
Wausau and Wisconsin Rapids. And then the second Thursday is Marshfield.
Guys, in my head, it makes sense. It's there. Oh, so we have Theodore Jacobson who says roundtables are a great opportunity to network and pull knowledge from the vets. I agree.
They absolutely are, Ted.
So we look forward to having you guys there. Again, keep commenting on here if you have questions and you're watching this later because we didn't match your lunch. Just let us know and we will do our best to follow up with you and get you those answers. Thank you again for being here, Rick, and talking about Roundtable.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And
Almost done.
how do you end this? No.